Okay, after you've completed your hiker image, you are now going to bring up your tree image. So you can go back up to the top of the Photoshop image, and we're going to click on tree. And again, make sure that you have this saved. Please make sure that you have this saved as a Photoshop document in your drive or whatever. So remember to go save as. Change it to your name. You can put your name and put color range for this one. And then again, I saved mine to the desktop. You can save it to whatever, but make sure it is saved as a Photoshop. So that way if you need to make any changes, you can change it. So save that. Now what we're going to do is we are going to select this by using color range instead of quick selection, because a quick selection would be hard because you've got all these little tiny areas, which would be even hard with the masking mode right in this area. So we're going to do something a little bit different. All right, so you're going to go up to select. We'll scroll and go up to select color range. And when you come into color range, you're going to get this box. And then you're going to see it's going to give you kind of a black and white mask. And what it does is it selects the colors that are similar. And you're going to see a little eyedropper in here. And what that does is once you click in an area with that eyedropper, it's just going to click and select those areas. So we want to select a combination of areas. So to do that, you have to hold down on the shift and then drag it just a little bit to get some of those areas. If you drag too much, it becomes totally too white, so you don't want to do too much of an area. We'll go a little bit into the trunk, but we don't want it super white. So we want to select, we don't want to select too much because then it becomes overpowering. So as you can see, if I did a lot, it becomes really white. But just you can still hold on and shift and get some areas. You can see where that upper part and the lower part gets selected too because they're similar. That's okay. I'm going to show you how to get rid of those. So click OK once you've got them selected, and you can see the marching ants. Now what we need to do is get rid of this area right in here. So I'm going to scroll all the way down. Or scroll down a little bit. Go to the Lasso Tool. Now this is important. You need to hold down on the Alt key as you use the Lasso Tool. So hold down on Alt. You're going to get around as close as you can without selecting the areas that you want to keep in there. And then go all the way around to the outside edge and connect that. And when it connects, it should delete it. Okay. And then you want to go down the bottom. Same thing. Make sure you can see a little bit of the edge at the bottom of the page. Hold down Alt. Again, select it as close as you can, because it's going to delete what you don't select, or what you do select. So we want to select, you go all the way around and hook it around and connect it, and it deselects that area. So now we've got our area completed and what we want. All right, once we got rid of the deselection, we want to create a layers mask. So go over to the layers panel. Okay, over on the right side, and over down towards the bottom, you're going to see a quick mask in that layers panel. So we go down, there it is, click on the quick mask, add a layer mask. Okay, not the regular one, but add a layer mask. And you see it adds a mask right in your layer. Okay, now we can start adjusting things in this layer. So what we want to do next is to add another layer underneath it. So I'm going to go Command New Layer, and that brings up a new layer, and then I want to fill it. So I'm going to go Edit, Fill, and I want white. All right, mine's already on white, but as you can see, if it were on the foreground color, what yours may be, okay, if it were on the foreground colors, what other color is selected, if I click OK, that's what that layer is going to become. Okay, so we want to go Edit, Fill, and then change that to white. This way we can kind of see what's selected, what isn't selected, and kind to clean up a few areas on this also. Okay, now that we have this white background, you want to hold on the Options key. Okay, we're going to fill in, we're trying to get rid of some of these areas that are kind of grayish in the background. You want to hold on the Option key and click the layer mask. All right, it's going to give you a black and white view, and you can see there's kind of these grayish areas in here. All right, so now what you want to do is you want to make sure that you are in the brush mode, but on the brush mode you have to be on the overlay, not the normal, overlay. So go to the mode, go to the overlay in the brush tool. You also want to make sure you're on the default black and white. When you're on black, if you go over those, it's just going to go and get rid of those gray areas that are black. Okay, so we want to clean up those areas, and then you'll see some white areas that have some grayness in them also, right in here. And then, so you go back and go and click to the white, and you go back over those, and that will clean up that too. You can kind of go over everything, and it kind of cleans everything up. So you want to clean all that up the best that you can, and then to go back, hold the option, hold the Alt and click on this layer again, Alt, and that will get you back to the normal view. Now you're going to see that you have the tree. We want to try to add the brightness to this a little bit. So to change the brightness, we are going to add some layers. So you're going to have to make sure you're clicked on the layer, all right, and then you will hold down Command J. Okay, you got to be clicked on the layer. When you go Command J, it's going to duplicate a layer. And we want to, if you duplicate it about 4 times, it will brighten up the intensity of that tree a little bit. So we're going to do it 4 times, and then we're going to select all 4 layers. So I'm going to select the bottom one by holding on the Shift, select and Shift, and it selects all of them, and then right click, and it should say merge layers. Merge layers, this makes them all one, and then you've got one image, and then we can move that around and move that into our next image. So that's all you need to do for this part. Actually, oh, sorry, let's go ahead and pull up the landscape image, and you're going to click and drag and take it into that landscape image. Hold on to it, bring it down, and voila, there is your tree. You're going to do the same thing with the hiker. So you're going to click and drag him up into the landscape image, pull him back down. There's your hiker. You can transform this guy by clicking on him and pushing Command T. Once you push Command T, that will transform. That transform box will come up. You can go larger, smaller. Remember to hold down Shift to keep him in proportion. Mess around, put him in a different place, see what looks good. Actually, I want you to put him where I showed you my example, or just make him look halfway decent. And then you can do the same thing to the tree. So you have to go over to the tree layer, or to deselect, you can click that check, okay, or you can click enter. Either way, it doesn't matter. Deselect won't work, so click check or enter. And then we want to select the tree too. So to select the tree, select on that layer, Command T will transform, and you want to put it to where it's somewhere it looks halfway decent and a halfway decent size. So play around with it, put it to where you think it looks best, but also where I can see all the images.